does this stuff even apply to me? I don't have a job, bills. My friends go to the same church. This all seems like down the road stuff. What's the relevance when everyone is telling me that it's not worth it?
Hello, everybody. I'm Lawrence Richardson, Senior Pastor of Living Waters Ministries in Towson, Maryland, right outside of the main city of Baltimore. We're changing the church, challenging the colleges, and charging into the community. I believe with all of my heart, God is ready to bring a series to the forefront that is imperative that we hear it, and it's entitled Raising Up Godly Children and Mentoring the Next Generation of Kings, Queens, and Generals. I believe with all of my heart, we must now turn our attention to the children. There's a main text that I'll look at in this whole series, and it's in Genesis chapter number 18, and God is speaking of Abraham, and he asked the angelic beings that are talking with him, shall I hide from Abraham what it is that I'm getting ready to do with the city of Sodom and Gomorrah? And he says, not only shall I not hide from him, he said, but I've known him. And because I've known him, he's going to teach his children, and they're going to live righteous and in justice for all the days of their lives, keeping the commandments of God. He basically infers there that I know Abraham, and Abraham is going to teach his children. It is so imperative that in this hour that we train up children in the way that they should go, so that when they're old, they will not depart. That city of Sodom and Gomorrah is very important in the text because they are partnered with three other nations, and it's a kingdom really, and they're known for deviance. They're known for defying the laws of God, and they're known for, of course, their perversion. It is so important in the hour that we're living that we teach our children. I believe with all of my heart that there are booby traps everywhere. And some of these booby traps that have even entangled us in different seasons and different times. But now, because we're out of them, we must now teach our children and our children's children how to stay away from them, how to go the other way, how to allow the Lord to lead them. And that's what this series is going to be all about. There are 5 important things that I want to talk about, I will be talking about. And of course, the whole antidote of all of it is Jesus Christ, living unto Christ, losing our lives. And that's what we're going to teach our children to do. But there are 5 things that I want us to understand that are going to be a part of this teaching in a very innovative way, having people involved, and just creative tools that we'll use to teach us about raising our children. First thing is we now have to look at real carefully what's going on in our homes. On a daily basis, 24 hours a day, what actually happens in our home. I believe with all of my heart, we cannot turn our children over to televisions, over to iPads, over the internet, over social media. There are so many dangers there. There are so many things that are godless there. So we must now take our active involvement and get a real good view of what's going on in our homes daily. Number 2, we've got to get a really good understanding of the Word of God. The Word, if I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. We must become determined to live life from a biblical worldview and teach our children how to do the same. Number 3, which is probably the heart of all of this, we've got to learn to overcome our past. We've got to learn to defeat the iniquities and the transgressions of our forefathers, and we've got to learn how to contend with this evil destroyer. The good shepherd comes to give us life and life more abundantly. The destroyer or the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And just over my city alone, Baltimore City, the murder rate, we are seeing that destroyer actively moving in the lives of too many people. And somebody has to stand up and contend, stand in the gap and say this far and no further. We've got to contend with the destroyer. But a part of that is overcoming our hurt, overcoming our iniquities and our transgression, and now learning how to live unto God. Number 4, we got to learn to point our children into their callings, into their elections, into what God has designed for them. Every one of our children have a unique design that God has set them in this earth for. Well, a part of our parental responsibility, if we're mentoring children, we got to look at that child and say, you go this direction, you go that direction, you rise up and be the next great athlete, the great innovative, the great president that we would need in our land. And then number 5, we have to be present. We have to get involved. We have to be in the lives of our children on an everyday basis. In a few hours from now, I'll be with my sons at their baseball game. They play for a little league team here in Baltimore City. Well, a few months ago, I was coaching my same children middle school basketball team, done that for a couple years. It's not enough to run around this country, around this world, doing so many things, but then we're absent when it comes to our own children. Get up, coach a baseball team, walk in your community, see what the kids are doing. Tell them people to slow down that's driving through your neighborhood too fast that could hit one of those little children. But get involved, be present. I believe what our children are begging from us is to be present. All I want you to be, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want you to be present. In the book of Exodus, the children of Israel are coming out of Egypt under the taskmaster, wicked taskmaster Pharaoh. And there are two things that they encounter as they're trying to leave. The first thing is Pharaoh says you can leave, but I'm going to give you a conditional release, all right? Well, with our children, there are no conditional releases, all right? This is what we want. This is what's going to happen with them. And this is the way we are going to go. And then the second thing that Pharaoh said, not only do I want to give you conditional release, he says, I want you men to go out, but leave your children and your wives. How absurd is that? All that is saying is when you die, your dreams and your hopes and your vision die. No, no, no. Our children are going with us. We will not leave them behind. A few years ago, I believe from the public sector, we heard the real strong cry, no child left behind. I believe with all of my heart that was prophetic, but I believe there's a correct and there's a godly way for us to do that. It's not just building better schools. It's not just doing different things that we would try to do on an earth level, but we've got to do it God's way. And I believe if we catch hold of God's way, we could truly live out that prophetic statement. No child left behind. I can't wait to teach this. I want you to get involved with me. You might have idea, talking to one of our young members the other day, and she said, hey, I'm excited about it. I said, hey, what can you bring to the table? It is time for us to get a fervor of delivering our children. We're going to raise up a next generation that are going to be godly, and they're going to be kings and queens in general. God bless you. Excited to do this. Again, I'm Pastor Lawrence, Living Waters World. God bless you.